Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Before I get into this video, I'd like to ask you all to please leave a like, a comment on my video, and consider subscribing to my channel. Now, today's video is going to be once more the weekly patch notes and update. So let's go through the maintenance and let's see exactly what's happening. So number one, we will release 50 people feature on the test server. Thank you for joining the test server. Okay, so we're going to have a few days of the 50 people fleets to try out and have fun with. Added Yule Festival, the event will be available on December 22nd. Outpost should be anchored more than 5,000 kilometers away, far away from the Stargate. Okay. Fix the problem that drones will not respond to your command immediately. Okay, now I'm a little bit disappointed. The reason why was I was one of the people who basically came up with the idea of using stations as a defense for your gate, and it looks like they've literally taken it out of the game, so it's no longer possible to use the stations to make your sector free from requiring roaming fleets. So yeah, that's quite a heavy one, and let's look at everything all together. So the fixes, let's see. Fix the problem that drones will not respond to your command immediately. Fix the problem that cognitive neuroscience could be bought with ISK. All cognitive skills that bought this method will be removed. All players will receive compensation up to 180,000 skill points. The players who bought the skills with ISK will receive less compensation than others. Okay, so basic stuff that they did, one or two small things. Now, just looking at the overall of all of these things that had happened over this the small period, I don't know if this is okay, right, let's look at it all together, everything, and explain. So one thing is the 50 people fleet. It was one of the most key issues around sovereignty that we wanted to test out, because with 50 people joining one fleet, you didn't have to worry about multiple FCs, uh, a lot of miscommunication, a lot of people not knowing where to go, not getting onto the right anchor. All of these things are the small problems that people were suffering with when it came to fleets. So right now, if you had to jump onto, say, for example, a fleet, you're only going to get 10. And when you get 50, it means that you are now 5 times as many. It means your fleets can form up a lot faster. And let's say, for example, you run 200 to 300 people in your operations. Instead of running 30 fleets, you can now run 6 fleets. You can specialize groups together. So you can have your forward breachhead group of 50 players together instead of having it 2 or 3 teams separate, and it takes you like 5 minutes to decide what you're doing when you're going through the gate, because you have to discuss with each other and then go through. Now it's going to be the same way that the first person would have done it. Everybody's going to jump through. You're just going to target, knock out the camp around the gate, and keep moving through. So that's one thing that's going to happen. The next thing that was also very important about it is it's first being introduced into the test server. So since it's coming into the test server first, we're going to have a day or two of trying out these 50-man fleets. Expect a lot of lag from them. Generally, when it comes to bigger operations, at least past 10, anybody with a lower end internet connection or a mid to high range internet connection, a mid to low range internet connection, experiences some lag when the fleets get too large. And those on lower power devices, like for example, if you don't have the flagship devices like the latest iPhone, the latest Huawei, the latest Samsung, you generally experience a slight amount of lag on your device. That's because they aren't really 100% up to the spec for this heavy graphics that comes through with these incidents. So when you take on missions and you're facing off more than 10 or 20 enemies, you'll see slight glitches in the way you're playing. It skips a few seconds, so you might experience this with the 50-man fleet. And if you do experience it, please remember to report it to the devs. it is very important that it goes through. You don't want to end up being in 50-man fleets and not being able to do anything. Because I know personally from past experience, I can't sit in comms and be in a 50-man fleet on the same device. So I have to have two devices running at once to be in comms with the 50-man plus fleet. Alright, so let's move on to the next issue that was discussed. The Yule Festival will be available on December 22nd. So there's a festival, a new anomaly, um, a new thing that we're going to be chasing. Now, I don't know exactly what's within the Yule Festival. I'll find out later today. I was actually going to go and test it out today. So when we get into the Yule Festival, these are all the things you need to know. The Yule Festival is basically, how do I put this? Mm, the Yule Festival is basically another one of the events. And if I am correct, it comes with special event anomalies. So you're going to experience a few more special event anomalies this time around. They're going to come around in your sectors. It's going to be similar to the Halloween event, if I am correct. If I am not correct, then this will be an activity based event. So you have to complete certain objectives, you have to do a certain thing for it, and it will complete. I'm not sure which way the event is running, but if it is a hunt event, so you will have to hunt these special anomalies. From them, they'll have a special drop from the boxes. Obviously, get your teams ready, get everybody ready for the 22nd of December. People are going to be rushing and fussing about to decide who's in whose team, who's going with which formation, where about your ratting, where's your locations. Make sure you have all of this planned so that you can actually jump in, have fun with the event, and when you are done with whatever it is, you can have fun. Now, one thing to remember, on the first 3 days, if it's going to be an event similar to the Halloween event, where they gave us a new module within the event, remember, for the first day, sell everything you get your hands on. Now, the reason for that is their prices are ridiculous on the market on that first day. It might mean the difference between you not getting a battleship and you getting a battleship. That's how expensive they can be. Example was the what is it? Sorry, I'm getting a bit confused. Um, an example of what you could get is the interdictor bubble launcher. Sorry about that. I got a little bit lost. I don't have an open game to go through, as you know, maintenance doesn't allow you in. So yeah, the interdictor bubble launcher, when it first launched on the market, the lowest level MK5 was 250 million apiece. MK7 was just under half a billion, and the named and the special ones, which you get above the regular named ones, so like the bubblegum, were in excess of a billion. By day 2, the highest level named one was a billion. By day 4 and 5, the highest level named one was still a billion. By the end of the week, they started to fall down slowly on the market, reaching somewhere near 5 to 600 million per bubble launcher. And that was where it stayed for quite a while. I think it came down a little bit. I think it's now in the 300 millions. But nonetheless, some of the event items will stay that high. Target painters, when they first launched, were very expensive. The MK5 was just over 15 million. The MK7 was almost 25, and the named variants were 50 to 100 million apiece. I'm not exactly sure on what their value was on day one. I didn't check them out. Disruptors, tracking disruptors were very expensive. They were more expensive than the target painter. I believe they were between 20 and 50, between 20 and 30 million for the MK5, and they went up from there in range. I didn't check many besides the MK5s. So with all of this being said, that really gave a big boost to the market on those days. And it's something that you're going to have to look at. Remember, if there is a festival and you're getting chests, get a hold of those chests, open it, and sell whatever you can on the market. Atron interceptors, other interceptors are going to be fantastic for traveling down. The one thing is they can't hold boxes. So if you want to sell boxes, the Atron interceptor isn't the route to go. If you are going to try and sell a box with the Atron interceptor, you're going to need to extend its cargo hold, so maybe two cargo hold extenders, and that might give you enough cargo hold to take down one box if you do have event boxes. So that's something else to note. Now, the reason why they moved outposts away from gates, well, number one, just like what I was discussing, some players were doing the floral pattern, and I was about to show you the floral pattern today, to be honest, on the test server. I was about to set up a floral pattern and have someone test it out. Unfortunately, since it can't be deployed near gates, I'm going to deploy it near a station and show you how effective it can be. This is going to be basically a preventative measure against people gate camping you, not gate camping you, spawn camping you at your station. You set up the perfect floral and you have it set up so that it's breaching at 100 kilometers. So 100 kilometers off the dock, you can set up your floral and you can have it as a defense for your station. Now, this also applies to Capsulia outposts. If you are going to set up one, you can set up 5 around them and have them set up in this manner. Now, the gates obviously will have to have something like gate guns applied. I'm surprised that they did something this heavy when they didn't do anything about the low sec gate camps. I don't believe they didn't announce banning or punishing players for violating the safety zones of the gates. So yeah, I'm shocked that they're actually doing this. It's a really big show from NetEase. They really thought it through, definitely. I'm actually impressed with it, to be honest. I may not be so happy about it. It may be something that I was working on to actually do on the real life server, but I'm a little bit disappointed at the fact that we can't defend our gates with stations. They haven't given us any form of defense for the gate as yet, and they removed the ability to use stations as defense. I wonder if those who already applied the stations ahead of the patch will be able to keep them there, because you have to fight them in close proximity to each other in that manner. I wonder if players have decided to make diamonds, because diamonds will work well when you have free forming stations. So that means you're going to need 7 plus. I'm going to actually have to build more stations, and then I will give you an idea on how it works. So basically, here's something to note. The reason why they removed it was one corp actually went and formed up stations on the gate. Now, the stations on the gate made it impossible for anybody to invade their space. You couldn't just jump in and kill a bunch of people. The moment you jumped into the gate, you were met by several stations, and once the stations went hot, you couldn't do anything about it. Now, obviously, that's just one of the things that were really hitting people when they were testing it out and using it heavy to guard their areas. So if you had a dead end pipeline, if you got a hold of all of your entrances and you set up these heavy Capsulia outpost settings, you had the unbeatable entrances, so nobody could really come and invade you. The only thing they could do is come in with Atron interceptors with materials, head to an NPC station, dock into an NPC station, build ships in the NPC station, then come out of your NPC station and attempt to fight you internally. And obviously, there is the counter to that there. As I said, 100 kilometers off the dock, you set up your big formations and you block it out, or you block out the gates from your NPC station locations. So yeah, you're not going to get too many of them. You're maybe going to get about 20 of them in the entire system. So you go to each one of the stations, you set up these gates on them. If they're in dead ends, it's just one gate to set up on. If they're in the middle of a channel route, that's 5 or 6 of them, and there you go. You now have 5 or 6 of these heavy defenses. They can't really break through. It makes it heavy, it makes it hard. You can't just deploy any type of formation. They can bust through battleships, so it makes it really, really strong. and that was what people were doing. So now obviously you're going to have to remove that whole formation from the gate if this rule disables them. So you're going to have to pick up all of your stations, head them back down to one of the planets. On the planet you're going to have to deploy them. So you have to know where people are going to jump. You're going to have to deploy them on planets because that's one of the easiest jumping spots. Unfortunately, that means you're going to need a lot more to just make that defense. They might actually add in a limit to the stations to a system. So yeah, it's something else to think about. I know that you were using it for the defense of gates. So let's talk about this a little bit more and see what we can come up with. Obviously, maybe the gate guns are coming out in a week or two, or with sovereignty. They should have waited till then to put this as the update. I think right now it's the fact that they found that people were getting way too crafty, way too ingenious with these easy formations. I did know it was an exploit. I didn't know it was an exploit. I thought that they would limit the number of stations allowed to be in one area with each other. So, yeah, unfortunately, this is what happened. I hope that you do enjoy yourself in the game. And that was the weekly update and patch notes. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day.